Thank you.
Senator Murkowski.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you all for being here this morning. Ms. Daniel Davis, I want to follow on what Senator Lankford has been asking with regards to this memo. And you have indicated that you are seeking to basically continue the practice across previous administrations and seeking to build out clarity. And you've told Senator Lankford you appreciate his input here, and I will add to that input in terms of, again, the lack of certainty, the delays that come with it, just not knowing when and who effectively is the decision maker here. When we had Secretary Holland before the committee, she made very clear, I think, to each and every one of us on this committee that it was going to be her practice to follow the science. It was going to be her practice to place the trust in the field experts that we have out there. Not that Alaska is that much more unique than Oklahoma, but it is unique in many, many ways when it comes to accessing our resources and some of the laws that have overlay there. And so this particular issue is very concerning to us because it does not appear that that you are allowing for that guidance from the field to be adhered to. You're not allowing the science to be adhered to. You're basically pulling everything back to Washington, D.C. for a political review. And whether it is with regards to the action in the NPRA, what we saw with the public land orders, you know how intense many of us feel about that decision, the oil and gas program leasing in the 1002 area. So I'm not certain that your response to Senator Lankford has provided any more clarity to me about what you really mean this process to be, because the direction that you seem to be taking, that the administration seems to be taking, is that we're going to pull things back to Washington, D.C., and if it takes longer, it takes longer. And if those that are seeking to invest the capital look at this and say this isn't worth the investment, it is kind of a, well, that's too bad type of an approach. Tell me why I should feel differently about my perspective right now.
Thank you so much, Senator, for the question. It's nice to see you again. I think that generally we are committed to following the science. We're committed to following the law. Specific to the permitting issues that have been raised, I'm not aware of any ongoing permitting delays. So I want to be clear about that in terms of the work that is done at the state level and the work that those offices do.
If we can, I'm sure we'd be happy to provide some examples. And Senator Lankford, I'm sure you can probably provide some from Oklahoma as well. And again, there is a concern that it used to be that you could count on your Alaska BLM folks. You could go to them, you walk it through, and you can get an answer back. We're not seeing that anymore. So I don't know where that's gone to, but it certainly is not in place right now. Let me move on, because I do have a whole host of different issues. I have to bring up the Willow project because, as you know, this is probably the singular most important development project in the state of Alaska right now and going forward. We do appreciate the Secretary and the Department and their efforts to defend the Willow permitting process that's been conducted. We're working through next steps with regard to the court decision on the litigation, but I just want you to commit to me that you intend to prioritize these processes and keep them on a reasonable and a predictable schedule.
Thank you, Senator. I know how important this project is to you, and we intend to work closely with the BLM Alaska office, who is looking at the ruling and moving forward with next steps in a timely manner.
Well, know that this is not just important to me, but it's important to the entire state.
Understood.
During our meeting a couple months ago now, I raised my frustration, and I think you sense not only frustration but real anger about some of the reports that I had received regarding virtual consultations held by BLM with some of our Native tribes and corporations to discuss the potential revocations or modifications of our public land orders. And I raised these concerns about these tribal consultations because we had learned that there were uninvited environmental organizations that were listening in on these consultations, including a former employee of one of the BLM political officials that was leading the consultation. You indicated that you agreed that this was absolutely inappropriate. You would find out what was going on. You'd report back to us. So this is now your opportunity to report back to us. What did you do when you got back to the department and raised this? And how can you assure me that that really you are going to take tribal consultation as seriously as it needs to be if you're confirmed?
Thank you, Senator. And I appreciated your raising that issue to me because, as I said to you at the time, and I'll reiterate here, it is inconsistent with appropriate formal consultation practice to have anyone other than tribal leaders or tribal member that the leader has asked to appear, or, as you know, sometimes, sort of a consultant or a lawyer may appear, but again, as asked to by the tribal leader. So I did go back and ask and understood that it may have been that the folks managing the consultation weren't aware in a timely manner of sort of unauthorized people on the phone.
Do you find that acceptable?
I don't. And what we did is we have reminded everyone of the ground rules for formal consultation, and we have also reminded people that it's sort of imperative to police such things and that they have the ability and should exercise it to dump people off the call. I guess I'll say it that way. And we have had to, talk about this across the department because, as you know, every program is engaging in formal tribal consultation. So I appreciate, again, you're bringing it to our attention. It's allowed us in this remote environment to make what we think and hope are improvements to the consultation process. We do take it very seriously.
Well, you should take it seriously. I found it shocking, just really shocking and disturbing, and it just sends a message, unfortunately, that the consultation is not is not being handled in a manner that most of us would expect. Mr. Chairman, I have several more questions. My time has expired, so I will submit these for the record. But Ms. Daniels, you had indicated in response to a previous senator here that this oil and gas report that we have been waiting and waiting and waiting for was going to be in early summer. Secretary Holland testified before the committee that it's being finalized internally. We're going to be seeing it very soon. I'm told that in your response to yet another inquiry today, you say it's going to be out here soon. I've given up asking on this because it's almost laughable at this point in time in terms of what the answers are. So I'm assuming you still don't have anything more definitive that you can give in terms of an actual date that we can look forward to.
So thanks for the opportunity to talk about where we are in the process. And as I said previously, a report like this that occurs at the direction of an executive or of the president is reviewed by interagency and White House process, and that's appropriate and expected. And we are working our way through that and incorporating additional information as it comes forward. And I don't have a hard date for you as far as release.
Sounds like it's taking even longer than the Secretary had thought earlier this summer. Mr. Chairman, my time has expired. Thank you.